Okay, so I'm actually pretty happy with how that last little video went. I want to make something else fairly short and similar, short and sweet as well. Completely different point. So in today's society, we sort of see things as like, you got to have respect for everyone. Everyone's equal. Everyone has valid opinions, that sort of thing, which is all well and good. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. What is the issue more than anything is it's creating a lot of conflict between all of us as people. Division is at an all-time high, if you hadn't already realised. Which, you can call that conspiratorial if you want or whatever. That's not really the point. The fact of the matter is that it is. Now, one thing that I realised was, I would say that even though I don't get along with this amount of people on a readily sociable aspect, but I would be willing to say that probably at least 80% of people in the world, maybe down to 70 at the worst, have generally good intentions. They don't want to hurt anyone. They don't want to do anything wrong. They don't want to break the law. They don't want to do anything like that. They have no reason to, and they wouldn't want to. Those other people who do those sorts of things, well, that's another very horrible thing that is a topic for another time. But my point here really is just that, you might go about your everyday life and think that you're doing absolutely nothing wrong. And I might come along and agree with you, as might 95% of other people. But there's still that 5% of people who think that whatever it is you're doing is wrong. And the fact of the matter is, we need to realise that as different people from different parts of the world with different upbringings, different cultures and religious aspects and such like, that, the chances of people seeing eye to eye who weren't, at least born in the same country, if not closer to each other, is pretty slim. And then, of course, when you go within that country and you have to look at other things that are creating division, whether it be difference in politics or sexual identities or whatever it might be, because as I said, division is at an all-time high. It seems that if there's anything that we can divide ourselves over, we do, which is not the way that things are. I was always sort of raised to believe that, everyone's different for a reason. It's a good thing and it should be embraced. The last thing we need is to be ridiculing each other over it. That just seems so odd to me. Aside from those people who, as I mentioned before, legitimately have malicious intent, the rest of us don't. We would like to genuinely get along with everyone. And we're seeing, in this day and age, all sorts of people arguing about all sorts of things for all sorts of weird and different reasons, many of which I know I don't understand, and I'm sure a lot of them you don't understand either. As I said, it's down to that individual perspective. So it's one thing that what might be good for you might not be good for someone else. It's the perspective of the individual, right? So, as much as you see people these days clawing at each other and saying, oh, my rights need to be respected and this and that, and it's my way or the highway, so that's fine. Think that if you want, but the fact of the matter is that we need to get along here. Because if we don't, we've not got long left. We need to see this and we need to make a backwards turn back. Take a couple of steps back here. Because a lot of these people who are arguing over these issues, genuinely, at the end of the day, they don't have a problem with each other. They're either scared, and they've been scared into thinking these things by media and such like, or they're paranoid, or whatever. They might have been raised in a situation to question people's, certain orientations automatically. And, it doesn't matter how far we progress with things, because 100% of people are never going to align on their views all the time. It's never going to happen. It's not possible. There's 8 billion people in this world. It's just not possible. So the only thing that we can do is realise that as an individual or a small group or such like, We don't have the power to do things like change the context of an entire language. You can't do that. It's not a matter of I'm disrespecting you or your viewpoints or your opinions. It's the matter of a language is created for that specific reason because it is precise and it is to be used to clear away such inadequacies as this of which I'm speaking. Okay? This is why our languages exist the way they do, because we need to use them in such a way that is precise. Now, the problem here is if we're going to go and start changing it and adding in, this is offensive to that person and this person's offended by that and whatever, we're never going to hear the end of it. Because quite frankly, without going into too much detail, we know there's a lot of things that a lot of people are offended about. And that's fine. We all have feelings and such like, and they can be hurt. But I can tell you right now, without you not knowing too much about me, there are still things that happen to me every single day. And I don't mean one thing. I mean many things every single day that are done to me that offend me and cause me a great amount of pain. No one cares. Okay? No one has one shred or iota of remorse towards my feelings. And to put those just briefly, they have to do with personal religious ideologies, which in a free Western world we are all entitled to. So if you don't like mine, then I don't have to like yours, and that's how mutual respect works. The other is, mental health. Hate to say it, mental health. As much as everyone in this world has their supposed rights and that, who still doesn't? Disabled people. Specifically, mentally ill people. People who lead normal lives, can be medicated, and have nothing wrong with them as long as they are medicated. I've been medicated on the same medication for over 10 years. Over 10 years. I had one hospitalization in that time. Yes, I have bouts of problems, but that's just part and parcel with the illness. So where are my rights? Do you know what happens to people when they get thrown in a psych ward? If you don't, maybe you should go and visit one for a day and find out for yourself, okay? Because whatever you imagine it is, it's 10 times worse, okay? You don't know. Unless you've been there and done it, you don't know. You do not know the conditions that these people are put into. And why? Why do they not have rights? You should seriously look into some of the things that happen to people who are put into a mental health ward and then what they then have to do to get their lives back on track for being ill. Right, I've had enough of that rant now. But there's a clear point. We're never going to all get along on these things. We can't. So the best thing to do, get out of each other's way. Someone wants to do something, you don't like it, bite your tongue. Use this before you use this. Have a good day.